morning. Happy Sunday. Welcome to the Daily Dose. So peaceful. So look, I'm choosing a path. What path are you going to choose? Lots of different options, right? At the end of the day, the path that you choose for your life is still your choice, right? So just thinking about this morning on my just little quiet bike ride here in Jekyll. Really not too many people up. Such a beautiful, peaceful place. And it was just a reminder to me. I'm usually on the go, busy, you know, kids, work, always doing something. Gonna go on another path. I'm taking you around the island here, the grounds at Jekyll, by the way, if you want to know where I'm at. There's some old buildings, and then there's some older buildings. Beautiful, right? Come for a little bike ride with me. But look, I'm going down, I'm choosing, there's so many paths to take, right? And I'm making the choice every time I turn a new direction. See, I come down to the end here, I'm gonna make a new choice. I'm gonna show you some of these beautiful old buildings. Pretty cool. Check that out. If you've never been to Jekyll Island, if you're ever in Georgia, if you live in Jacksonville, it's not that far, maybe an hour and a half away. Really beautiful. Okay, so look, I gotta take which way should I go? Let's go this way. Let's go left. It's an old building. It's I guess a winter home they call it. So let's talk about choosing the path, right? You have a choice to make. Now, I don't know what it looks like for your week ahead, but you're gonna have to make some choices, right? In the path that you take. Now, let me just turn this around just so you know I'm here. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a great Sunday. Welcome to another episode of the Daily Dose. And I think there's lots of people sleeping still because there's a lot of weddings going on here the last couple of days. And see if I can get over to that. There's a really beautiful place. See if I can ride over there. Yeah, I should have access to get over there. But everybody's still sleeping. Not me, of course, you know. I did sleep in. It was about 6 o'clock. So no early dose this morning. But yeah, so let's talk about the paths. Let's get right into it. I'm taking a path. I chose a path. And maybe on the path that you choose, there ends up being a kind of roadblock, if you will. Like a gate, and it's saying no, but there's usually a way to get through, right? Check out this beautiful building. Oh, sorry. Check out this beautiful building. Tell you what, if you live anywhere near here, you're thinking about having a wedding for your, you know, if you have a son or daughter who's looking to get married, this is one of the places to have it. They have actually an outdoor, it's really beautiful grounds. Such a beautiful place. I could go over there, but I'm not going to. I'm going to take a different path. So let's talk about paths this morning. Lots of paths you can take in life. Today is Sunday, and it's time to start thinking about the week. Let's go this way. Now here's the grounds. That's the big one I showed you yesterday. This is the actual clubhouse. We're staying over here. And I figured I'd show you a little scenery, take you out on my bike. We bought our beach cruisers. Yep, I brought my beach cruiser from home. Super comfortable. Let's go this way. I'm gonna go this way. How about that for a beautiful venue for your son or daughter to get married in on the lawn there? Look at that, so beautiful, right? Isn't that awesome? Good stuff. So I know you don't want to see me, so you've already seen me enough. Probably if you come on any videos, I'll come back here just for a moment. And let's talk for a moment. So why am I talking about like paths, right? We have some decisions to make. It's a new week coming up. Now, as I know for my students, there's lots of choices they have to make, lots of paths. It's time to make a choice, right? Am I going to meal plan? Am I going to exercise? How many times am I going to work out this week? Am I going to schedule it into my already busy day? Now my kids are getting ready to get back to school. I have to figure out that, and they have sports, and there's this kind of new normal, and what do I do? How do I figure it all out? And you have choices to make. There's lots of choices to make. And one of the last things you need to be thinking about is actually to make a choice when you actually have to make it. It's really good when it comes to the path that you take to make the choice ahead of time. Now, when I was going around and about and I showed these different options. There's literally these little trails, little path walkways, if you will, and you can bike around them. But you got to make a choice, right? If you don't go one way or the other, you go right into the bushes. And the last thing I want for you is to go into the bushes in your week. So I'm just going to share this. This is really pretty. In fact, actually, I was doing a little research, so I'll share this with you. This little chapel here, this is pretty neat. It's called Faith Chapel. Check that out. Pretty cool. I think the only one that's here is this cat that was here before. And this is a pretty neat chapel here. And I think for me, one of the choices that I make and have made over the years is on Sunday is my day to, now they're not having church here, and they haven't had church where we live for a while. There's maybe even where you live as well, church has been kind of online, so to speak, and a lot of churches aren't back to kind of meeting in person. But it doesn't mean you can't make the choice to still do church, right? And that's one of the things you see today. Even being away, my wife and I, one of the things we were talking about is how we're going to be able to watch church while we're away. And it's a choice, right? So I know it's Sunday, and I know if maybe some of you are thinking about, I say church, or maybe what that looks like, whatever kind of faith. What's really neat about this church, by the way, I'm going to show you this again. What's really neat about this church is I was reading about it, and I was wondering, I was like, what's Faith Chapel? And there was a chapel, and it had all denominations. See, when they had visitors come, they had lots of different denominations of people who had faith, and they realized, well, they wanted to accommodate all those who come to have a place. This is pretty crazy. Their winter homes, they decided to build a chapel just for that reason. And they actually had something that was a little bit smaller, and then they actually built this chapel to have more space because of the people that wanted to worship on Sunday, or whenever they were going to do whatever they did for their particular faith. And it was really awesome to see that way back in the day they were making the choice then to choose some faith, to choose giving their time and effort and energy, not just to build and construct a chapel, but also to express gratitude and worship and to whatever, again, their faith pursuit was, or whatever denomination, if you will. So again, that's another choice. Today's Sunday, and there's lots of things you can do on a Sunday, and you have that option, to have that path. I can tell you, when I started on my life, there was sort of a path that I was put on with my family, my parents. It wasn't a bad one. It was okay. And then as I got older and became an adult, I had to make a choice and a path, and that was something that I can tell you for a fact. Choosing a path towards God, and choosing to walk in faith, and to look for Him to help me get through some of the choices I have to make in my week has been completely transformational. So I share that today on this episode of the Daily Dose, is not just that you're going to have choices to make, and hopefully you choose wisely, whether it be related to your health, related to your choices in food and your options if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to get in better shape, your choices for what your kids are doing for school. I know those things are coming up. But also, I just wanted to share with you and really come to this. And it's interesting that I wasn't necessarily planning to come here, but that's how God directed my bike. Honestly, I came by here, and then I rode around and I made choices. And the choices led me up to this right here, the chapel. And now, while the doors are closed, it's just an acknowledgement right now. It's pretty neat. It's interesting. This is Gothic. I want to show you what's really interesting. If you look up there, it's kind of dark. I mean, look at that. That's kind of scary, right? Like, this was in the Gothic. I was reading a little bit about it in Goth, like the architecture. Look at that. It's kind of scary. Interesting that would be at the church, kind of a Gothic type. I mean, it's not so welcoming, right? I mean, and it's a bit dark too. Almost looks like a haunted house, if you will. And I'm sure there's some stories from what I've heard, there's a few guys here that have been around here for a long time. There's lots of ghost stories, if you believe in that sort of thing. But yeah, so it is Sunday, and it could be Sunday fun day, but it could also be thinking about the choices that you have to make in the week. And why do I bring this up on Sundays? Because today would be a great day, not just to express gratitude, and to maybe, if you have faith, is to just not forget about the importance of time with God, and whether it just be on a Sunday or you try to every day of the week, and maybe you need to almost every hour of the day to help you get you through this kind of crazy time in this world. But also just to say, for somebody that's been on this earth, and I was sharing as I grew up and really didn't understand what that was. Now, in my 40s, coming to a better understanding of faith, it's transformational. You see, I made all these directions and choices to get over here, and you know, my path kind of looked like what we went through. It was up and down. There's some old, some new, some bumpy roads, so forth, so on. But I ended up about 10 years ago being invited to go to a church and to understand what the gospel is all about, and this faith and belief in Jesus, and having that pathway to God through Jesus and that relationship. And I'll tell you, it's helped in so many other choices that I've made, not just in my own personal life, in my health, in my business, in my finances, in my relationship with my spouse, in my relationship with my children. I'll tell you what, there's so many blessings, and not just for that, because it's not about what God can give to you. It's about what God is to you, and who, not so much who you are in the eyes of God, the whose you are. And I'm his. I'm a child of God just as you are. So I just wanted to share that with you on this fine, beautiful Sunday morning. I'll tell you what, if you want to come with me for another moment or two, let me take you down to the water. Let's do this. Let's finish it off if you stayed. Hey, there's a kitty. I think it's the, maybe it's the watch cat. This is beautiful. It's called the crane. This one here is called the crane. We couldn't get a room in here because they had a wedding, and they usually take out the whole place. But let's go through here. Let's go down to the water and we'll finish it off there. Of course, only early birds. I can't even imagine. There's probably nobody up at 5, but again, it's dark then. This is pretty. Nice little garden. Beautiful. So let's go through here. Let's go this way. Let's go this way. I'll take you around a little tour, a little mini tour. Oh, let's go this way. Here we go. All right, I'm gonna make a choice to go this direction. So my question to you is then, as we're kind of closing this up, is what path are you gonna go on this week? Are you gonna go down that path of doom and gloom and depression and anxiety and fear, and stare at the news all day and you know, get worried about, you know, not knowing what's to come? I always think of, like, when you think of these big trees and how many years they've lived. Look at the size of the trees. Like, look at how beautiful. You think they lived through some storms? I'm sure there's some that fell down, and there's some that died, and maybe even some lightning, and you know, even old age, and some maybe rotted and died and all that stuff. But I guarantee you, a lot of these trees, the beautiful trees you see here, lived through some pretty amazing storms. Look at that. The beautiful place. But I was thinking to myself, there's some of these trees that have lived for so long, that have been here for so long. And even that building, right, in the Morgan house that I showed you yesterday. And this building, beautiful. Trees like that, they lived through storms, right? They didn't really have a choice. They were put in the ground. But they weathered some storms, and I guess that's my question is to you, is how are you going to weather the storm? It requires making some choices in life, right? Some choices of what you have to make, and hopefully you will choose well. Hopefully that you make really good, sensible choices in your day, that you take time for yourself. One of the things I feel so refreshed now, my wife and I, just for the weekend, we got away, and it has been a little while. But we make it a point to keep ourselves calm, relaxed, to take time for ourselves, to take time to reboot, if you will. And maybe you need that reboot. Maybe it's not going out to, let's say, a Jekyll Island for the weekend. It could be just going for a walk by yourself in your neighborhood. It could be going for a walk on a beach. It could be spending some time with God on Sunday, just time to yourself. And I would just highly recommend that, is in the choices that you're making, is take some time for yourself to look at the choices you're going to be making in the week and seeing how you're going to make those, instead of waiting until the time where you have to actually make those choices. So anyway, that's all I have for today. Another episode, 133 are we at, of the Daily Dose. Take care and have a blessed week. I'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. Take care.